Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Sharma back with the episode 2 of the Roundup show where we'll be talking about the latest and greatest in tech and AI. And in this episode, I have a very special person who is Ayush Jaiswal. I met him last year and I've got to learn a lot about startups and business and technology from him. Ayush, how are you doing there?
Hey, I'm doing well. Doing well. Excited to be on the show. Excited about this new initiative, but doing well. Excited about everything that's been happening, and looking forward to chat more about some fantastic launches which has happened in the last 1 week.
Absolutely. So let's quickly jump into it and talk about all the latest things that are happening in the scene of technology. So the first news that I want to talk about with Ayush is the idea of DALLE-3. It's finally out and people are using it for some really interesting use cases, right? So you can now start using DALLE-3 if you have Bing Image Create. You can just go onto it and you can start using DALLE-3, right? So people are using it for a lot of different purposes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that Midjourney can't do a. Actually, it can't do a good job. I actually tried it with Midjourney. The response was not as great, but I'm sure the next version will have it. But this is pretty cool here. I think particularly artists, it just shows that the capability of AI, we used to hear that, okay, like AI just keeps getting better because it learns from you. But this is like a quick example of how things are changing every week. And, creative people who are creators are just getting more tools to do more things with less, right?
So the prompt right here is just 4 images side by side illustrating a life cycle of a cartoon dragon, and then you get this entire image that you can see right here. So you can get life
There's
cycles.
One I liked. The flowers one was quite fantastic, right? There was one with rose flower. Yeah, this one pretty sick. I think just thinking about different use cases where all it can be replicated is quite nice.
Yeah, totally. People are also, using it for these comic strips, right? So we can finally have text right inside of the images generated by AI. So these are all the types of, things that they're able to build with it.
Oh wow.
It's just an example. I think they should be.
But does it have the capability of writing comics as well? Like comics can be written using AI, but this particular thing, like if you are looking at a story, does it like continue the story?
I think it does. Like, let's have a look at this, right? So what they did was basically they started out with having the DALLE-3 plugin inside of ChatGPT. Then they started with some funny illustrations. As you can see, ruins my weekend plans, no diving. We have plot twist, lost at laundry, socket on me.
Nice.
So you can do a variety of things with it. As you can see right here, we can have these different types of landscapes that you can see here.
Interesting. So how's it, is this one linked to aging? Like if you basically give it a landscape and basically ask for different seasons, does it do that yet?
I think it can. I think if it can do the life cycles thing, I think this should also be possible. So
I'm sure.
So there were more, things that people were doing with it. Someone just said, create a IKEA type assembly for anything, right? They did it for a Tesla car. They did it for an Iron Man suit, and it all looked amazing, right? So I think very, very interesting things. You can also create your own illustrations right now. So you don't need to, get the subscription or pay for the illustrations or hire like an illustration designer. Yeah. You can literally just have illustrations like these for your websites for completely free now.
I wonder what happens to so many websites which offered illustrations, right? That's just insane.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going back.
The description that they have right here is a professional man and woman chatting at a table with a presentation board behind them. Very, very simple description. I think nothing
it's
complicated.
A very simple one. Yeah. But when I was using Midjourney, right, I think like you can also just learn prompting, and there are different ways in which you can just, create much more advanced images with very little effort. So it might be worth, learning that as well.
What's the craziest prompt that you've tried on Midjourney?
Craziest prompt. I think I don't really remember exactly what the prompt was. Let me actually pull my Midjourney in. What's the craziest I've tried?
So I was watching this video in which what this guy did was they made a prompt in which there's a dragon and there is a volcano erupting in front of the dragon, and you can actually, it said that show the reflection of the erupting volcano in the eyes of the dragon.
Oh,
so
wow.
you could see the erupting volcano in the eyes of the dragon itself. So that was a pretty high detailed thing that Midjourney, I think version 5.2 was able to do.
Interesting. No, that's pretty cool. But I think like if you just study it further, right? I was talking about there are a lot more things which you can try, like basically the unicorn style, or you can start, like talking about creatives in terms of style and the kind of art you want to push for, right? And those prompts are getting pretty complex pretty quickly. I haven't really dig deeper into it, but I usually go on Midjourney and explore everything else which people have done and try to get some inspiration from there and try to build things. But yeah, it's interesting. I think my favorite one is Pixar style Lalama.
Right. So would this make you try out DALL-E over Midjourney? Do you think Midjourney can be replaced or dethroned with DALLE-3 coming in?
So not really dethroned. I think like it's a completely different use case, right? Especially the aging bit, that it's having like the ability to like create life cycle of images. That of course I haven't seen being done in Midjourney so far. So that's something which in particular I could go back to DALLE-3.
Can you see this? Look at this right
now.
So
wow, that's incredible.
It's a blueprint. So this is what I was talking about, right?
The so IKEA people are thing, right?
Yeah. This is like a manual for assembling like a head.
You are obsessed with IKEA. No? the IKEA story. The guy who went to buy a lamp.
No, but it is very crazy,
this is
right?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. No, the moment I entered IKEA, I just observed all the different tactics that they are playing. Like whenever I am into a new store, into a new brand, I'm always trying to analyze what is happening around me. And so it was very interesting, the tricks that IKEA plays on people to get them to buy more stuff. And hence the famous tweet that came up.
I'm sure, yeah. But this is pretty interesting. This minute level of detail, of course, like it's just incredibly difficult to achieve normally, right? And I wonder, right now it's there in images, right? But how long before we start getting to see this in products, right? Like can this be combined with 3D printers, or can we start like having this level of complexity in real products? It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Right. Absolutely. Someone made like a assembly manual for a Pikachu as well.
Oh wow.
Very interesting. Yeah, this is the whole SE3Y. I think that's what you call it, right? S3XY.
S3XY. I mean, Ford bought Model E, right?
Yeah.
So that, just to screw up Tesla's sequence, but S3EY.
Right. So very interesting things people are able to build with the help of DALLE-3 right now, along with the text that you are now able to generate.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Look at this. You can now get anatomy of any animal, even like fictional animals, like for example, Pokemon in this case, and you can ask it to show exactly what is inside.
Wow. This is incredible.
It's very in-depth as well.
Yeah.
I don't even think the Pokemon company knows about all of this. They've talked about all of this. Awesome. So that was the first news. DALLE-3 has a ton of different applications that we've just shown you. So go try it out yourself. I think it is rolling out to some ChatGPT Plus customers. I'll just check if I have access to it or not really quickly. Did you get access to it?
Let me check. No, I haven't.
Yeah, I think it does take
You're talking
some
about
time.
DALLE-3?
Yes, yes, yes. So if I go to plugins, plugin store, DALLE-3, no, we don't have access to DALLE-3 right now. So what people are doing is they're using it with Bing Image Create, right? So this is where you can get access to DALLE-3, as you can see right now. Image Creator from Microsoft, powered by DALLE-3. So this is where you can put all the prompts and generate the amazing looking pictures that we've just shown.
That's a great acquisition channel. It just tells me how much of a leverage Microsoft has with OpenAI, right? I mean, they have a head start for sure. I seriously, I don't doubt Google's ability to get back in the game because they have most amount of data and entry points. We'll talk about that later. But this is pretty cool. Finding some more big users.
Yeah. Even Bard is getting updated a lot more, right? So if I just go here to Bard, you can now, it is now integrated with the whole Google suite, right? So I can literally just ask, I am living in Kormangla, Bangalore, and my date is in Whitefield. Recommend the best spot for a catch up and have some food as well. And it will give you the best places that you can visit and you can have fun over there. So it combines with Google Maps and it will analyze all the reviews. And there you go.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize people are using Bard already. I thought even Google employees use ChatGPT to get answers. But this is pretty cool.
So these are some amazing things you can do along with Google Bard right now. Awesome. So let's keep going. I think the next news that we have, let me just check. It is of Rewind Pendant, right? So Rewind is a application. It's an AI tool basically that you can use to record everything that you are writing and doing with your laptop, right? That is what essentially the Rewind AI is all about. They've recently come out with this really interesting physical device called as the Pendant, right? So basically the idea is you wear it every single day like a normal accessory, and it records everything that you are saying and you are able to hear as well. And then you can ask any question to it later on. And you can do that with privacy is what they are, saying. That's what their claim to fame is all about. So if you go to their website, Rewind Pendant, what do you think? First impressions?
I don't know. I think like the USP here is privacy and just recording yourself all the time. if they can questions.
Yeah. But would you want to record everything that is happening around? Because like I think I end up forgetting a lot of different things. Like I've met you a couple of times and we've talked a lot about different things for like 2 hours, 3 hours on a row. And I would want to distill all of that information, keep it somewhere. And my mind is not the best.
So I think like this is a very obvious use case and everybody will eventually do it. And we are doing it at Pesto as well. Like basically recording all the lectures and using AI to kind of like transcribe those lectures. And then you can ask any questions and wherever the answer is, the video just starts playing, right? So I see what they're thinking here, that just record everything in your day in AI and then you can ask any questions, around whatever you want to sort of recall, right? But I think like it just sounds like artificial memory. It's exciting, interesting for sure. I think this is something which I would love to, give it a spin for, but maybe it's just me. I just feel a bit hesitant in recording my entire day. I'm one of those people, by the way, whose all notifications are off, which makes me a terrible person because I'm always behind on emails and WhatsApp. But I feel it helps me work better. But this is interesting. What are the use cases? I'm curious about. Can you go to the use cases?
Let's go to the use cases. First of all, is for executives.
Executives. Interesting.
Supercharge your productivity. Make better decisions. Privacy first app that records what you do and makes it searchable. So that's what I was saying, right? Previously, you could do it with your laptop.
Yeah, correct.
So right
do you
now,
need to take permission from
I can
others?
have this, right? I can have a spotlight search on MacBook. I can search anything. But with Rewind, it goes deeper, right? It can have access to all of your docs, all of your sheets, and everything. So we just search for any keyword. It will search through everything that you've done. All the videos you've watched on YouTube, everything that you've consumed. So if I just search for minimalism, if I have access to Rewind, it will give me everything that I've consumed, everything I saw minimalism in the content that I've consumed so far. So that's the idea behind Rewind, basically.
That's interesting. But I'm just curious, like, does this record only you or the other? If I'm in a room in a meeting with somebody else, do they get recorded as well?
It will record everything. That's the idea of it.
Bro, it may make you a bit productive, but I think I'll feel a bit awkward if I see this pendant in anybody else's neck. I'm like, oh wow.
It is understandable, obviously. So this is coming out soon. It's not out yet. You can order it for about $60, which is inexpensive if you are selling it to like executives and like engineers. There is productivity gains for engineers, sales, even for ADHD people. I think
I totally see a use case for sales. ADHD could be interesting as well, but I think even if you're in sales, that data can be quite useful, but still like not recording the whole day, but maybe just the meetings.
Right. I think there should be a way to turn it off sometimes. Like when you're with your family and all, you would want that to be personal.
Probably. Yeah. But it's
cool.
just a pendant. I mean, look at the image. There is no button on it.
Yeah, that is true. Where did it go? Here it is. Yeah. It looks very minimal, like very Steve Jobsy kind of a aesthetic.
But it looks pretty cool for sure. I just feel personally not the right customer. I may not be the best customer for this, but
what are people talking about it? Like my question
Can you go
is
back to the website? This has like some really. I saw Mark Anderson, Alexis one. Wow, they have pretty.
Rewind is a good example of how AI can augment human intelligence.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
I want to see what are people talking about in the comments. Oh, they already got 1,400 registrations.
I saw that earlier. Yes. That's the first thing I saw.
I don't understand how this is private by design. I'm already spooked by the idea that people are meeting with this secretly record my voice and OCR scraping any information I screen share.
That's exactly what I said as well.
It's basically like a Black Mirror era episode.
Yeah. I mean, it could be pretty cool as well, because I think if you look at the next layer of efficiency, we had like the internet and, take over information. We went from like information being limited to areas to like, accessible to everybody. The next thing is really AI being accessible to everyone and AI doing 90% of the job, right? In that case, just like in, today, I don't mind sharing all my data with Facebook to show me the right ads. Otherwise, I just keep getting splashed with random ads. and I think most people don't, right? That's why Facebook exists as a business. So, I think from that perspective, if it makes your life super easy. Let's move to the next one.
Yes. We have Humane AI Pin, which is very similar to this one as well.
I've seen this.
They're all coming into the same space now. I think it's going to be the next big BNPL.
I grew up as a huge Pranam Mistry fan. And it reminds me of Sixth Sense, like Sixth Sense happened decades ago. I mean, years ago, at the very least, more than a decade ago. And it looks similar. If I mean, of course, like a lot more advanced, but very similar to Sixth Sense. What do you think?
What is Sixth Sense exactly?
Sixth Sense was the locket, and then using the locket, you can basically like do things. It's virtual computer.
Oh.
You had colored. Dude, you should check out Pranam Mistri's TED Talk. I guess you're a bit too young. That's why you might have missed it. But Pranam Mistry actually went on to be the CTO of Samsung. I think he's now working on a startup. One of my friends is working with him. Yeah, I think his TED Talk on Sixth Sense was just incredible. You should check that out.
Very interesting. I'll definitely have a look at that. Yeah. So what's the biggest USP of it basically? And why didn't it blow up? Like, I've never heard of it.
I have no idea why did it not blow up, but I think like all the tech which he built, he made it all open source essentially. So everything, his goal was to help everybody get a Sixth Sense, but
right.
Yeah, nobody ended up getting Sixth Sense. It's probably not the best strategy. We should commercialize stuff. Capitalism should be at work. But this is interesting. So how different is it from Sixth Sense? I'm like trying to think Sixth Sense backwards.
Right.
I saw that you basically project things on your hands and then make a decision. And so actually the founder of Humane is an ex-Apple executive.
Yes.
Or
yes.
it looks like, yeah. And they've apparently raised inhumane amount of money to build this. So really excited to see where this goes.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at their website and what it has to say. Humane AI Pin. That's it. First name, last name, email, India.
Oh, that's it?
Enter.
Yeah, I've filled that form before.
So Canva has just come up with a great event in which they have apparently 12 big announcements. So, Canva has been in the race of AI. As soon as we had ChatGPT, Canva tried to import all of the features, things you could do with the other AI tools inside of the Canva app itself, right? So now you can do a lot of interesting things. For example, we have something called as Magic Design. There's Magic Design for video. What do you think of Canva right now that we have Adobe Firefly and Microsoft Designer and a bunch of other design tools which make it a lot easier for you to get things done? Like I was talking to Adobe's someone who works at Adobe, and they were talking about how Adobe Express, Adobe Firefly are the new things that they are focusing on. They're going all in with it.
Yeah. I mean, Adobe is essentially Apple for design, right? Like what Apple is to hardware products, Adobe is for design tools. So no surprises there. I think like Adobe has to continue to do well. I mean, at least the way they're going, really exciting products. Their products are, my favorite. I grew up as a Photoshop fan. That's where I started getting into, designing websites, graphics, etc. back in the day. So excited about that, but that does not mean that Canva or any other, like tools by Microsoft, for example, can't coexist, right? I see all of them growing essentially, right? And they all are building for different markets. Like, for example, Microsoft focuses a lot on enterprises, right? Like the classic example of how Teams just, like blew Slack out of the water was insane, right? Like the growth happened largely through enterprises when they launched Microsoft Teams. So I think Microsoft has a different strategy. Adobe has been like, the leader forever when it comes to design. Now they have Figma as well, which is one of my all-time favorite companies. Canva, I think like has a very different market from both of these, and I feel that they will coexist.
But Canva has a new update, as you can see, right? It's called as Magic Studio, which is like an all-in-one place for AI. As you can see, that is what they pitch it as, right? Magic Studio brings together the best AI-powered tools. So apparently, you can now do what you could do with Runway inside of Canva itself, right? Have you heard of Runway?
Yeah, of course. You can't.
So basically, you can you can basically create amazing-looking videos with just some basic video input. You can transform videos, right? That was the basic idea. The Runway Gen 1 and Gen 2. And so what is happening over here is that they have some very interesting updates called as Magic Animate, Magic Morph, text to image, right? So basically, you can change the size and format of your designs, right? You can also bring your designs to life with motion, right? So if I try something like this, this is how it's going to look like. Basic animations now possible with the help of Canva AI, apparently. What we also have is Magic Morph. Make it beautiful, glossy green.
Oh, wow. It
is different.
I grew up as like the Illustrator Photoshop guy in 2008. And, like we used to enjoy building animations on Flash, Micromedia Flash. And looking at this, it just feels like what a time it is to be a 18-year-old entering tech. This is incredible.
Yeah, so you can now have videos right here, right? So with the help of Runway, I think they're able to create this, and it looks very, very interesting. Magic Switch.
That's incredible.
So you can basically resize any of your documents apparently, right? And you can turn it into summaries, you can turn it into comic strips, you can turn it into whatever you want it to be, right? So for example, I was using something like
into
this.
Comic strips as well. That's interesting. So I actually just yesterday I took PowerPoint, the new PowerPoint, for a spin just to play around. And it was so cool. Like you just keep copying data here, and then you can use the AI to rearrange it, but mostly basic stuff. But if you can completely change the theme design, that'll be incredible.
Yeah. So as you can see, right? Let's do this, right? So I have this PPT I created for an event I was recently at. You can go to Magic Switch. I can either translate into another language, and I can translate into a doc, into a summary blog post. Let's have a look. I can make a summary.
I'm more interested in translating language.
No, look at song lyrics. I can turn this into a song lyric.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
What do you want to go with first? Let's try this out.
So I want to try a language first. I think that's the use case there looks like magical, because especially for like since you have a deck, like for
what language do you know other than Hindi, English?
A little bit of French. Let's do French.
Let's do French. I have no idea about French.
It's okay. I also barely
translate existing design without creating a copy. I think I would want to create a copy for this, and it's gonna take some time, and we shall have. Oh, it's ready. Let's open it up.
Oh man, this is insane. If this happens, wow.
You tell me what is this?
No, I don't know what it means. I don't know French that well.
I trusted you when I went with French.
This is incredible. No, but this is pretty cool, because now you can just, like something which I'm personally very excited about is, so I love doing meetings in a different country, people from different countries. We have customers, and I used to struggle with certain accents, right? So when you do meetings on Google Meet, you can turn on the captions, right? I am curious to know how far along are we, how soon can we expect to have live language translation, which means that I talk to you in a different language and you hear in whatever language.
I think it already exists. There is a tool like this which enables you to do that. There is a slight latency of about 1 to 2 seconds.
There is latency.
Yes.
That kills it. 2 seconds kills it. Yeah.
Have you seen the playlist on Netflix?
Oh yeah, of course. saw it last month or something.
So that's where they talk about the latency and everything, and Daniel is just like, this is too slow.
Exactly, too slow. 2 seconds is a lot, because it just kills the, doing something remote already is like, the vibe is different than in person. 2 second delay is a lot.
Right. Let's
awesome.
turn it into
let's try something else.
Song lyrics. I want to see how it creates song lyrics. 4 years ago on an August day, there was a man named Ishan had something to say.
You have to sing. You have to sing, Ishan.
How do I sing this? It should be able to sing as well. If it can create the lyrics, it should be able to sing.
Yeah. Look, we are now complaining
4 years
about
ago,
AI
on August
just
day,
writing the
song.
song.
There was a man named Ishan. He used to think, what's the point, my friend? Will I ever use this knowledge in the end? It sort of rhymes.
Yeah.
Ishan Sharma unlocking secrets like a burning star.
On a journey to become the best you are. With 5 overflowing buckets and the unicorn's case, this ain't no lecture, just the start of a bitter days. All right, maybe it needs a few more months, but this is pretty cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's very interesting, right? So you have this song lyrics. What else can we do? So we also have other things. Like you can have magic grab. You can grab any text. You can have any object. You can grab it from your picture, from your presentation.
Oh
and
wow,
you can take it wherever you want.
Yeah, this is an expected one.
And we also have the magic expand, which was there in Photoshop.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think magic expand, magic grab, probably the ability to move up an object from one place to other along with expand.
So we saw how we can turn any document into a song lyrics. We can turn it into a different language altogether. But they also have other features like magic morph, right? Which we were just talking about. Let's just try this out really quickly. Add an element over here. And then I can morph this element. And I can put some thing on this. What do you want me to write?
I mean, yellow star, Pixar style, something like that.
Yellow Dragon Ball Z star.
Dragon Ball Z star.
Let's see what it does with that.
Okay. I think AI is smart. We are not doing a good job now. AI कह रहा है ये क्या बोला यार तुमने?
सोच रहा है बैठ करके. Okay.
Not bad.
This has that vibe, I think.
We should do. Yeah, I think I got a good one.
This design looks terrible, but you get the idea of what you can do with it. Text to video. A shot of iPhone 15 breaking. A shot of iPhone 15
I think we should do breaking. In a thin man, in hands of a thin man.
Oh, right.
Muscular man is too obvious.
Okay, a shot of iPhone 15 breaking in the hands of a thin man, and let's pick some style. Anime.
Let's do anime. Yeah, let's do anime.
Sad thing. Yeah, something you typed may result in content that doesn't meet. Okay, so you cannot apparently create.
Don't say thin man.
No. I think it's iPhone. Okay. If I just say a phone, maybe then it'll work.
Let's just say the most expensive phone. I think AI will get it.
Let's see if that works actually. Of most expensive phone breaking in hands of a thin man in the anime style, and let's go. This doesn't look what we wanted it to be.
I mean, it is the most. It's. Do you know what this looks like? It looks like Lava. Lava was a company that launched a phone. It exactly looks like Lava phone.
I will have to still wait for the videos part, but no, have you checked out ideogram?
Nope.
What's so ideogram?
Dude, there are so many things to keep up to. Like I get headache thinking about how many AI tools are getting launched.
No, so ideogram is basically DALLE-3 for free, right? And that's the exciting part, right? So I take the same prompt over here.
Mm-hmm.
A shot of the most expensive phone breaking in hands of a thin man. And I can put a anime style over here. Where is it?
Okay, we can just do photo or any other style.
Oh, we got anime. Cool. Let's just generate this. And it can actually have text as well. So as you can see, there are some designs people are making with it for completely free.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't think I'm hiring a logo designer ever again. After
have a look at this. It's basically like a badge.
That has happened with AI.
It's a badge I was making for the Unicorn Secret book that I recently launched to give it to people. And this was made entirely with ideogram.
Wow, amazing.
Lots of different examples and it looks very polished.
Did you get it printed as well?
I have sent it for that and it'll be out soon. Nice. So I'll be sharing that with people if I meet them online, in person.
Were you able to get the vector images as well?
So what I did was, this is a 1080p footage, right? Picture. So I took this picture. Obviously, if I zoom into it, you can see it has the...
Yeah.
It's not the best, right? So I took this, I upscaled it. I just searched upscale AI and apparently there was a tool called upscale AI as well. And I was upscaling it to 4K, right? Then I took this picture and then I used something called as vectorize AI. I did not know it exists karta hai. I just searched vectorize AI and I found it apparently. And it turns really your picture into a vector.
It feels like .com bubble, right? The house.com, the .com bubble had all of these domain names. Those companies didn't survive apparently.
Yeah.
But it really feels like the .com bubble.
But the interesting part is this is all for free. The vectorized AI was free. This is the vector I created for completely free. This was the higher quality image I made with the help of it. So now if you zoom in, you don't get to see it's very polished. And of course, we now have the SVG as well. So it was made with the help of this, right?
Well, I mean, I think
this is what it looks like.
Paying for it. but yeah, it's very cool.
What do you think about this art compared to the one that you previously saw?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is more of an anime.
What is ukiyo-e?
I have no idea. I think like you just selected that.
Yeah. This is a design.
Sounds
basically
like something, a Japanese art form or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what you have. Ideogram AI, completely free and works exactly like DALL-E. I'm curious to see when do they decide to monetize on the traffic that they are getting.
Yeah.
Because it is going very viral these days. Did you have a chance to look at the Google event that happened recently?
Oh no, I picked up bits and pieces on Twitter, but haven't followed.
Yeah, so Google came up with very interesting ideas. Google Pixel 8 was launched as well, and they talked about a 7-year-long upgrade promise. So essentially, if you're buying the phone today, till 2030, you're going to get consistent Android updates. And that sounds more like something that Apple would do, but Google is promising to do something like that.
Interesting. I mean, how is it different from buying any Android phone and getting Android updates for next?
You don't get Android updates for 7 years, right? For any of the phones that you buy today. That's the interesting part. But MKBHD talked about this in his video. He talked about how Google has been launching things and then shutting them off very quickly. Right? So Google Stadia came up and then it was...
That makes sense. That's that's the catch. Okay. I thought that you're talking about Android upgrades, so that's a given. But they have launched something different from how's it different from like the regular Google phone?
So Pixel 8, again, it's a better phone from their previous Pixel 7 generation. It's just that now they're promising 7 years worth of Android updates, which they were not promising before, right? So that's the main highlight of...
so they're essentially saying that Android is not going to die. Which is pretty obvious, right? But interesting. I think like what I'm most excited about is Google doing a lot more in AI. I was wondering that, imagine if there was no ChatGPT, right? There was no OpenAI, and Google essentially used all their power, data, etc. I mean, there's less innovation at Google these days, is what we hear. But if Google launched everything first, people would really look at Google as an evil company. That hey, they have all this data and they're clearly a monopoly and whatnot, right? But now Google is suddenly an underdog, and they have most amount of data, amazing capabilities potentially, and I think that the biggest advantage which they have is Android and Chrome, entry into the internet, right? And I think these two things are massive. I know Apple was considering DuckDuckGo, that's the news I read, for making like their default browser. Wasn't as serious, I guess, but anyways, I think like that's a huge advantage for Google to have, and now they are painted as like the underdogs, right? Something similar happened with Facebook as well, right? Like Mark Zuckerberg's image and Facebook's image suddenly became of a like slightly more love than earlier.
Yeah, I think it's like that. Like if you become the best, people start to hate on you, and then if you're like number 2, number 3, they're like, okay, this can succeed, so you should probably focus on that.
Yeah, I am totally on OpenAI gang, by the way. Like, I love
Sam Altman, if you're watching this. No hate.
No, I think it's startups, right? I mean, startups are supposed to, there should be no entry barriers, and if big tech could use their power to suppress startups, I mean, what's the point? But startups always succeed; they always win. The little guy always win. But OpenAI certainly is so huge now. But I think like it's interesting that Google is on the back foot now, and they are the underdogs, and they have this massive advantage of Android as well as Chrome, right? So it'll be interesting to see if they can make good use of it, right? Like,
Right.
Potentially they may not, because Internet Explorer also belonged to Microsoft and slowly died. But it'll be interesting to see how Google comes in. So let's focus on this. What exactly have they done? AI call assistant calls
yeah, very, very interesting things, right? Number one, we have AI call assistant. So I think this was Google Duplex is what they made. I think 2017-18 they showcased this. Essentially, it can answer your own calls and it can make, appointments. If you're going for like a salon, going for some, event or something, you can book things with the help of AI. In this case, AI call assistant, it basically answers your calls silently from unknown numbers with a more natural sounding voice, apparently, to engage the caller.
Yeah, I've seen demo of this. I think this is a part of the Google event which I actually saw. It was pretty scary.
let's actually hear it, right? So,
hi, I'm a Google virtual calling assistant recording this call on behalf of the person you're trying to reach. Can you say what you're calling about?
Hi, you've won an all-expense paid trip to the Caribbean. Press 8 to claim your prize now.
Unfortunately, the person you're calling cannot take your call right now. Have a nice day.
Hi, this is Kristen from...
It felt like the person who was answering the call on the other end was more AI than the AI itself.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to imagine.
I struggle proving I'm human more than a lot of bots, I guess, very soon.
No, there is a chance we could just be AIs just talking to each other while people are just looking at us.
Yeah. But it's interesting, like, there are so many call centers that might just become irrelevant, right? Like I've seen this happen with chat. Like Swiggy made their customer support so much more efficient by having automated customer support chats, right? And I feel like a lot of more companies, I think Dukan did something which reduced their customer support reps by a lot. They used AI to do that. But I think if you introduce voice into it, like you're actually talking to a human being, essentially, effectively, right? Then you don't need any call centers. So that's a pretty interesting one.
Yeah. There's another feature called as unblur photos that they've come up with. Right, so you take a blurry photo and it will unblur the photo, apparently.
Oh wow, yeah. I think I've seen this before somewhere, but Google is doing this by default, I guess, in Google Photos.
We also have best take, right? So this was very interesting. Apparently, whenever you take a group photo, there's a chance that some people are blinking their eye, they're looking somewhere else. So what Google is now able to do with AI is that they can take the best shots of every individual and then group them together to create this photo which never existed in reality. And that's what they call as best take for group photos. So as you can see,
can we look at the demo?
Yeah, just have a look at this. So apparently, this is what the image actually looked like, right? This face is not the best for a photo. And then what happens is, you can tap on each face and it will change the faces.
Change the expression?
Look at this.
Wow, that's insane. That's insane. And also, like, actually, if Google can do this and they don't ship it in every Android phone, then I think Google Phone 8 is off to races. I'm not sure. If only Google Phone 8 can do this and not every other Android phone, it'll be interesting to see how far this goes.
Yeah.
we have
like,
had,
do you trust this picture? Do you think it's a real picture? Looks real, right?
No, it's not. I mean, everything else will look fake. We are already living in a fake world, Ishan. This is going to go on Instagram, making us look smarter than we actually are. Probably prettier, but we are living in an almost fake world.
Right.
It's just getting faker and faker.
It's a scary thought right there.
It is.
Magic Editor is also here, right? So I think this is what we've seen previously as well in other tools. Now it's finally here in Google. Oh, but this is interesting. You can highlight certain parts and you can change the position and size of it.
Like we have seen this happen in other tools, but not as easily. If you're able
But
to
look
do
at
this on a
this.
phone, that's insane.
What happened here was, this is what the image looked like. The camp net was not fully visible.
You could just move the tent. Yeah.
And it would completely fill the camp itself.
Yeah.
This part is what is really interesting to me.
No, it's pretty interesting. And I think like the fact that you can do all of this on your phone is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot you can do on phone these days, but yeah.
Okay, what else? Zoom enhance. Generative fill to fill the gaps between pixels. It also predicts fine details.
This reminds me of Samsung's thing, right? Like you could basically zoom in on the moon and then they use AI to make it feel like your camera is out of this world.
Makes sense. So that was that. Google board is also upgraded now. So apparently you type a sentence, it will give you another way to type it. But the interesting thing is, imagine you're on Bumble, right? You're typing something, trying to make the talk interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gboard is going to be like your wingman trying to help you out with it.
This is, if I was in the dating zone, this is like one place I would not want to be fake. So, so people who are thinking to use AI in their Bumble, my goodness.
It's all about the pickup lines these days.
At some point, it is, you will have to get reels. A bit scary.
Yeah, exactly. But I recently was talking with a founder, right? And he was talking about how he knows a friend of him who was working at Google, and he basically met him in 2020 or 2021, right? And he was talking about how Google Bard was already very strong at that point, and what Google is putting out right now is a very basic version of Bard for everyone to try out, because Google has this internal war going on.
Yeah.
If they come up with the best
They're trying
version
to control
of
the
Bard
beast
for everyone, yeah, exactly, for everyone to try out, then what happens to the Google search, right? What happens to the search ads that they make money out of? So I think that's what their thought process is. But how do you think they can make money on the same magnitude of Google search ads?
I don't know. Like one very interesting insight. So one of my friends, David, DK, used to work at Google early days. And he mentioned that when Google was probably like 500-700 people or under 1,000 people, the biggest competitor of Google used to be, or internally at least, people looked at eBay as the biggest competitor, because Google had all random search queries, whereas eBay had search queries which they can monetize, right? I think it's a similar situation here, right? That Google has search queries which it can monetize. If you give it to AI, not sure how much you can monetize that, what happens to SEO, all those questions, right? But when I heard that, I was after hearing that, I could make sense out of it, but I could have never guessed that Google saw eBay as their biggest competitor. So I'm not sure what business model would work there, but it'll be interesting to see, because if they don't go for it, somebody else will for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Because it just makes so much sense, right? I found myself using ChatGPT for answering majority of the questions which I would go to Google for, because I just don't want to go through so many links.
But do you trust, and do you think that hallucination is not something that it would do, like when you're asking it?
No, I think you can be specific in your queries, right? Like just like in Google, I don't trust every writer I read, right? I mean, I'm reading a random blog. I don't trust every blog, right? So I think just like that, when you ask ChatGPT, it usually, most of the times it's right. So I've had a pretty good experience. I feel like the amount of time I would spend earlier on Google has significantly moved to ChatGPT in last 2-3
I'll give you an
months.
example, right? So I was using Google Bard and I just searched, right? I was making a script, I was making a reel about how, Sam Altman became who he is, right? So sort of like his journey and the lessons that he learned in his childhood. So I just asked Google Bard, right? So give me a list of all the experiences and lessons that Sam Altman has shared on public, on the internet. And it gave me a lot of those anecdotes and stories. I picked a couple of them and I made a reel out of that. Later on, when my manager was reviewing the edited video about to be made live, he searched about those and realized that was actually not true.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Interesting.
So that was very interesting. It talked about how Sam Altman sold his first startup to Google, which in fact was not Google, it was some other company. So these type of factual inaccuracies and then completely artificially woven stories, right? I think that is what I saw for the first time when I made. So here's another news, right? So Mr.Beast made this tweet talking about how there is a deep fake of his, which is going viral on TikTok and other platforms. And it is talking about how you can enter in this giveaway and you end up winning iPhone 15 or something like that, which sounds something that Mr.Beast would do, but it's actually a scam.
That's insane.
And it's not just happened with Mr.Beast. I think with a ton of different people, everyone who's going viral these days, right? So Ankit Bayanpuria, the guy you might have seen him on Instagram.
Yeah.
He had a couple of his deep fakes as well on social media, right? On Instagram as an ad, basically. So it was his picture and then him talking about some brand, which he did not actually ever talk about. So it's very interesting how these things are taking place.
Yeah. That's insane. I think we should also talk about WorldCoin maybe, right? Like WorldCoin is just scanning everybody's eyes. What
is WorldCoin?
You should check it out. Just Google WorldCoin.
Let's just search WorldCoin. So I know it's a project by Sam Altman.
Yes. It's a project.
I also saw a stall of it in a mall nearby when I was going for food.
Yeah. So it's basically putting your biometrics on the blockchain. Essentially, like you record your, I think they scan your eye and they put it on the blockchain, right? And they're putting everybody, I think 2 million people are already here. In every Web3 conference, they're scanning everyone and things like that, right? But this seems like a potential thing which could happen to avoid deepfakes, right? That basically all social media platforms tie your identity, to your profile, and then everybody can see. I mean, blue tick is not enough. Blue tick is like $10, right? But if you can see, okay, your biometrics is tied to, like your identity is tied to your ID, then probably that could be one of the. But I think especially for next 6 months, it's huge. I mean, thankfully, we are in a bear market in crypto because the amount of scams which happens in crypto is so insane that if a bull market and AI strikes at the same time, a lot of people will lose money.
Sounds very gloomy.
I hope this gets solved before the next bull run.
No, but apart from this, right, there's also a lot of apps coming up, which are like, AI girlfriend apps, AI boyfriend apps, for example. And I tweeted about this recently, right? I tweeted about how this is just not the right way, right? It just shows the dark future that we're all heading into. There's a website called as Replica.
Yeah.
Right? So you can basically download this app called Replica AI. And what it basically does is, there will be a female, if you're a male, obviously, and you can start chatting with that AI. And then it starts to take that conversation into the, the intimate part of it, right? So sort of try to sound like a human and keep asking you questions around your day, what happened and all. And it tries to get you to this point in which if you need to sort of talk dirty to it, you need to basically pay the subscription. And then you can start talking about all the things that you want to. And it will actually send you nudes as well.
That's insane.
So if you go to Replica AI, and this is...
I mean, imagine, so I'm actually thinking, imagine people who are growing up in the metaverse. When I look at kids, people who are kids who are between 7 to 15 maybe, and I see them growing up in the metaverse, right? Like literally their life is virtual. I mean, my nephew on his birthday asked for a virtual t-shirt or something, a virtual good, right, on his birthday. And I was like, this is insane. But for them, because they have spent so much time in the virtual world, in gaming and Roblox or whatever, for them it's very normal, right? They're used to living in the virtual world and spending time there, right? And projects like these, when that audience grows up, right, like when the 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds become like adults, these projects won't sound as absurd as they do today. And these projects are making insane amounts of money, right? Like a couple of months ago, another project went viral, which was similar to this, right?
But this is really creepy, right? Like just imagine a future in which, look at this, like this guy is having his VR headset on, and this is his AI girlfriend apparently, and he's just talking to her in the metaverse.
Wow. I'm so glad I got married already. This is insane. Is this a real person or is this AI?
This is the AI, but that was a real person. This is a real person.
Yeah, real person
interacting
to an AI. Yeah.
With the AI itself.
Makes sense.
So look at this. Like this is replica. So you pay it, and this is what it does basically. Yeah. But what does it do to your own confidence? Like my question is, this will hinder people. This will basically make people avoid having in-world real conversations and experiences, right? Like they'll just be like, I'll just go back to my VR headset and just talk to virtual avatars and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different world, right? Like, think about it. Okay, so you grew up on your laptop. The amount of time you spend on your laptop and your phone probably is more than the amount of time you spend off screen. Right. Is it not?
It is.
So you are already living in the virtual world. Your virtual world is just, like limited to a 42-inch screen or a, like 4-inch phone. So you are living in that virtual world. The only difference is that you don't have the hardware to give you virtual reality in like a seamless way. So we have all grown up in that. For your grandma, this will sound absurd. And she, like when I talk to my granny, she would be like, why do you spend so much time on your laptop or your phone, right? Like, wo kya karta hai? Wo khana deta hai? It's so in her mind, it's useless, right? Because in that generation, you never did a thing like that, right? So I think that's why I said that I'm very curious to see how, like 9 to 14-year-olds, what is their worldview, right? I constantly try to look at their worldview because their worldview is actually what will matter, because they are the ones who are growing up in this artificial world, and like they have essentially grown up in that world, right? So I'm curious to know how they think and how they look at virtual reality in general. Yeah.
There's one more news, and that is from Deepinder Goyal of Zomato. He is now joining Shark Tank India.
That's insane. I saw Ritesh also join Shark Tank India last week, and I was just so happy because I've known Ritesh, and I know you talked about him as well, but I feel that it's so incredible to see. I'm personally excited about Ritesh sharing his values on the show. That's something which I get inspired about the most. So you're really, really proud to see that. And Deepinder Goyal is probably like one of the OGs of the startup ecosystem, right?
Right.
It'll be really exciting to see both of them on the show.
Absolutely. I think this will finally make me to watch it. I think season 2 I did not watch, But with this
Just like everyone
combination
else.
right here,
Yeah.
we have to check this out right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. So, one thing that I want to also talk about is this recent video which was shared by a lot of people. So what happened is this video right here. So apparently, the question is, this is a video right here on Instagram of Kylie Jenner, right? Or who is this? Kendall Jenner. This is the Kendall. But the people are asking, is this an AI generated video? What do you think?
Maybe it has loop of head moving. Maybe, but it's so difficult. I can't guess. Okay, I'll go with a yes. It is an AI generated video.
So this is an AI generated profile, I think. This is a completely AI managed by Meta. This is the first Meta AI avatar.
Oh, got it. So Meta is launching. Oh, wow.
This is insane.
Dude,
I mean, just look at this.
It's insane, yeah. Because if you can like create content which, so Meta would have data on what kind of content would do better, right?
Right.
And wow, so creators who are already a creator, dude, congrats by the way. The barrier to entry is going to become much higher, and people who are creators already or have the distribution can monetize in a lot more meaningful ways.
But this looks scary to me. Like, I could not distinguish between real or fake. I thought this was real. Like,
Nothing
it very
is
much
scary.
felt real.
It's okay. When Industrial Revolution happened, people were scared. I guess machines are doing all shittier jobs of humans. It's totally fine. We'll be fine.
Right.
But social media, yes, I think like the mental health issues and the artificial world around, it's pretty. I think I highly recommend everybody to read Indistractable.
Nereal. Yes.
Yeah, when I met him, I had read Hooked, and I was like, okay, I have to read the next one, and I found Indistractable a better read. I mean, Hooked is amazing, of course, but Indistractable went on to be one of my favorite ones because it really put me off, right? When I'm talking to you, Ishan, right now, I can get 0 notifications. It really helped me live in the present. And there was like, I think I used to feel my mind is getting a bit foggy at times, and I don't feel that fog anymore. So it's really cool. So that's something which I'm concerned about, that if artificial creators are creating content all day, getting you hooked, you were already hooked, getting you hooked even more, how do you snap out of it?
Yeah, like Meta has a whole thing called as AI characters, right? So it says that what you should know, AI character profiles are managed by Meta, posted may be generated by both humans and AI tools. To chat with AI directly, use Instagram Direct.
Probably they're doing some more A/B tests.
Yeah, before it will be out for all of us to try it out.
Yeah.
Who does this AI follow? That's my interest. Okay, obviously Kendall. And then there are some other profiles which we don't know about. Can we look at
how much Facebook paid her for using her brand?
I have no idea. I'll have to check that.
Let's ask GPT. Oh, GPT has all data access. We'll have to use Bard now. See, that's the only time we use Bard.
So if I go to news, right? Billy on talking about this. Meta now AI chatbots. So we have some information over here. So these are all the AI avatars that Meta will be coming out with.
Oh, right?
So we have Mr.Beast. There will be a Mr.Beast. There will be,
that'll be huge.
This creator. And you can then talk to them. Think about that.
I'm sure.
There will be Paris Hilton. There will be Snoop Dogg as Dungeon Master. Then there will be Kendall Jenner, Mr.Beast, and all of these. So this is the whole list of all the AI avatars from Meta.
That's crazy. When is this getting launched? Is it already?
I think it's already out, right? So you can use Instagram Direct apparently. What is Instagram Direct? And then you can talk to them.
Let me follow a couple of AI avatars.
So that wraps up the second episode of the Roundup. Thank you so much, Ayush, for taking out the time and sharing your insights. How was
Awesome.
it? What do you think about it?
Glad to be here. This was so good. Super excited to see you do this. Lots of content incoming, I guess.
Yes.
but this was fun. Very light. Very, very light. And enjoyed doing this. Appreciate you hosting me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming here. Guys, if you're still watching this video, make sure that you share it with your friends. We are just getting started with this show. There will be more weekly shows coming up. So make sure that you subscribe, share it with your friends. And if you want to watch clips of it, there's a separate Instagram account called as the Roundup.tech. And over there, we have all of the clips, the basic highlights from every single episode. So go check that out if you are interested as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.